I'm Carmen Lilith, aka the Oval Witch. Today's video / episode is going to be on the full Pisces Sturgeon Moon. We have both the double fish of Pisces as well as the fish of the sturgeon. So there's a lot of water energy and fish energy that is within this lunation. We're going to see this moon peak on Friday, August 28th. Pisces is a water sign. It is intuitive, creative, artistic, and emotional. It is symbolized by two fish. It is ruled by both Neptune and Jupiter. The Neptune element to this is this dreamy, spiritual, inspirational, and imaginative energy, as well as a psychic receptivity and the ability to dispel illusions. Neptune is also the god of the sea in Roman mythology, and his Greek counterpart would be Poseidon. So there's just more of that water energy coming through here. Neptune is currently retrograde in the sign of Aries, so this fiery, passionate, a bit hot-headed, but energetic and fast-paced, action-oriented energy of Aries. When this is retrograde, it's really asking us to take a look at our authenticity and how we show up in that, and how your habits and your actions align with your identity and your dreams and goals. It also signifies a time of inner healing. Jupiter also co-rules Pisces, and we actually just came out of a Jupiter cazimi in the sign of Leo, which means that basically Jupiter was sitting within the sun in the sign of Leo, which was amplifying Jupiter's energy, which is already all about expansion, luck, fortune, and ambition. This also means that this planet's going to be extra powerful right now since we just came out of this cazimi. So we're still kind of feeling like the after effects of it. Growth, expansion, luck, and optimism are all aspects of Jupiter. 444 on the timer. And in Roman mythology, Jupiter is the god of the sky and thunder. He would be the Roman counterpart to Greek Zeus. And this planet is still sitting in Leo right now, which is encouraging bold expression as well as confidence within the spotlight. And we're also seeing a lot of healing and breaking free of specifically visibility wounds right now. And this asks us to speak our truth with authority and authenticity. The fish energy within Pisces really amplified this fish energy of the sturgeon moon, because sturgeons are actually these massive fish that are known to be fished out of lakes around this time of year. They are very large, they're bottom feeders, and so they tend to kick up a lot of dirt and mud. So there's also this aspect of like uncovering and unearthing, as well as a blending of earth and water elements. There's also more of this expansive energy just from the sheer size of them. Like some of them can even grow up to 800 pounds. There's also some abundance that we're seeing with the sturgeon moon because they, for centuries, have been so abundantly fished around this time of year and have been like a primary food source, or a very abundant food source. But there's also a lot of resilience and survival energy behind the sturgeon moon, because sturgeons are actually prehistoric fish. Like, they're called living fossils because they've existed since prehistoric times and have barely changed and evolved in the grand scheme of things from when they first came about to modern day. This prehistoric aspect also definitely suggests ancient wisdom, which I think is another big theme that we're going to be seeing illuminated with this lunation. This full moon occurs just 6 days after the sun transits from Leo into Virgo, and this creates a Pisces Virgo axis between the moon and the sun. So it's going to be a lot of blending of the material and the spiritual. Again, Pisces is water, intuition, flow, emotion, dreams, and creativity. While Virgo is earth, it is grounded, it is stable, seated, practical, logical, and detail oriented. So the universe is really asking us with this axis that we're seeing to trust in our innate wisdom and our emotions and intuition while grounding dreams into reality through detailed plans and actions. Now that we're past the fiery force of Leo and the Jupiter cazimi in Leo, we're being called to continue moving forward through discipline, commitment, resilience, and devotion, even when the initial motivation and passion and spark has worn off. The same concept of the grounded and practical earth with the emotional and intuitive water can also be reflected in the fact that this is a partial lunar eclipse as well. A lunar eclipse, 11:11 on the timer, a lunar eclipse occurs when the earth moves between the moon and the sun. So the earth is almost blocking the sun's light just enough to cast this like reddish, orangish shadow on the moon's surface. And we have the moon, the earth, and the sun in a alignment. Although it is not a total eclipse, making it a blood moon, this moon will likely have that slight reddish, orangish, like kind of rust color. Energetically though, this means that grounded, practical earth blocks fiery and passionate sun and casts its shadow on emotional and intuitive moon. So this eclipse is really telling us if you expect to succeed through pure willpower and excitement and passion alone, you will get burnt out very quickly. So it's really asking you to listen to your emotions, listen to your intuition, know when you need to rest, and create logical and practical plans around whatever it is that you're doing to reach your dreams and your goals. Because if you're not approaching it sustainably, then you're going to get burnt out and drop it, and it will be more difficult to pick back up without that fire and without that spark. This is also the last full moon before the autumn equinox occurring on September 22nd, followed shortly by the harvest moon on September 28th, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, September 28th. We are still in Pitta season until mid-September or about the autumn equinox, when we shift into Vata season. So be sure to utilize these last few weeks of Pitta's fiery, passionate, and energetic energy to plan and detail how you are going to continue showing up and sustain your journey towards your dreams without burning out, and while also prioritizing pleasure, play, and rest. Also, there is a dog barking outside. I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but I apologize that if there's any background noise, I just have to keep on recording, because if not, my child's going to wake up before I can finish recording. So as we shift from summer into autumn, life and energy both begin to kind of slow and turn inwards and settle a bit. Again, repeating the themes of blending passion and practicality and using intuition, creativity, emotion, and imagination to do so. Now, to get into some of the correspondences for this moon, We'll start with the elements. We have water, which is kind of obvious. This is a Sturgeon Moon and it's in Pisces. So I've said so many times throughout this, water, water, water. So of course I had to include water as one of the elements. I also included earth as the other element because we're seeing this blend of earth and water where we are also grounded and we're rooted and reasonable and detailed and planned. And so together, these two elements of water and earth come together to create kapha, which is the dosha associated with earth and water. It is grounded, it is logical, it's the balance between flow and groundedness. Okay, so now to get into the crystals, up first we have sodalite, which is associated with the Vishuddha throat chakra and the Ajna brow chakra. It is commonly referred to as the thinker stone, so it's all about logic and thought, as well as clarity, creativity, truth, and expression. It also helps to dispel some of like the foggy illusions that can sometimes come with Neptune. Next up is serpentine, which helps with the shedding of old habits, and it also helps with transitions and crossing the threshold, which we also talked about a bit in the last lunation as well. It is associated with the root and heart chakra, which again reiterates this kind of grounded and emotional duality, which is definitely another big theme of this moon, is the duality. Next we have jasper, which is known as the supreme nurturer. It is grounding, stable, comforting, and it also helps aid with endurance as well. Next up is amethyst, which I had to include because it's Pisces birthstone, so of course. But it is associated with the crown chakra, spiritual guidance, psychic downloads, and dreams. Next we have aquamarine, which I included partially because of its deep connection with water, but it's also very heart-opening, and it helps to calm kind of chaotic and volatile emotions and helps to grant clarity on them, as well as gives you the confidence to be able to face them. Labradorite helps with intuition, transformation, and it protects the aura. Moving on to herbs, we have chamomile, which helps to ground anxiety and help you to calm down and regulate. It is also kind of connected with the sun, which I thought I'd include since this is a eclipse, or partial eclipse, I should say. It also promotes inner peace and healing and is a symbol of resilience. Rosemary can also help to reduce stress during this time, but it also is really great for granting mental clarity and stimulating focus and mental function, as well as cleansing. Next we have jasmine, which is ruled by the moon, and it's all about intuition, dreams, specifically dream magic, if you are interested in working with that during this time, and prosperity. Mint helps to cleanse stagnant energy as well as clears mental fog, again granting more of that clarity that is coming up from this Neptune energy. It also symbolizes renewal and vitality as well as wealth and focus. The colors associated with this moon are blue, silver, reddish orange because of the shadow that's cast on the moon at this time, and green. Usually this is the part where I tell you about the tarot that aligns with this moon, but I figured instead of that, I would like to try to do a reading for the collective on this moon at the end of the video. Popping in post-production to say that actually it is going to be its own separate video, because if I included it, this video would be like an hour long and I don't want that. So I will be uploading the tarot reading on August 27th before the moon peaks. And finally, we have deities. We have the obvious Neptune and Jupiter, or their Greek counterparts, Poseidon and Zeus, as they are the co-rulers of Pisces. but I also really wanted to include Aphrodite and Eros because of the story of them fleeing or trying to hide from the monster Typhon. And they jumped into the Euphrates River, and depending on the myth, were either transformed into two fish or were guided by two fish to safety, and they tied a rope or a ribbon around themselves to not lose each other while escaping this monster. And this imagery of these two fish, or two people being led by two fish, being bound in the center with a rope or ribbon, directly mirrors the imagery of Pisces, with the two fish and the tie in the middle. So I am recording this outro post-production because the original outro was actually the outro to the tarot reading more than it was to the guide episode. But anyways, if you are listening to the audio, you can find the tarot reading on my YouTube channel on the 27th, the day before the peak of the moon, or technically like the day leading up to the peaks. It peaks at like midnight. But aside from that, thank you guys so much for joining me today. Dreaming out loud, Carmen, Lilith, the Yoga Witch.